The executive board of the Montgomery Improvement Association recommends that the 11-month-old protest against the city buses will be called off, and that the Negro citizens of Montgomery, Alabama will return to the buses on a non-segregated basis.
It was a beginning, and like most beginnings, it was small. And to most Americans, it seemed far away, this struggle for human rights down south. Ironically, at the same time, there is another struggle for human rights, much farther away, bloodier, briefer, and with no happy ending. And this time, although the beginning is small, it is loud.
Budapest, the twin city which is Hungary's capital, is the flashpoint where the fight against Russian domination explodes into bloody revolt.
It all begins as a peaceful demonstration. People are asking for a little more freedom in Eastern Europe. One of those present is Eva Zerany. She's a Hungarian movie star. By 1956, she's acted in more than 40 films and is, as well, a patriot.
And they peacefully marched to the radio station, and there the AVH, the Hungarian secret police, started the fire. They started shooting the people, the innocent people. They were going with white handkerchiefs, and they started shooting the people. That's how the whole thing started.
But it becomes more than a demonstration. It becomes a revolution.
Traditional Hungarian emblems on buildings after building are replacing the Red Star.
The revolution spreads. Men, women, and children take to the streets. Freedom fighters, they're called. One target, the secret police. When the freedom fighters are done, communist literature and communist officials both lie on the ground outside police headquarters. Bodies are everywhere. The city is in confusion, and in confusion, or maybe to regroup, the Soviet troops withdraw. The impossible seems to be happening. In Hungary, for one moment, the unreal seems real. Nick Martin is 25 years old, a Hungarian athlete. He describes Budapest that day.
Jubilation. Everybody was extremely happy. All the communists were either chased away or put away. The few Russian soldiers who were there also. And immediately a new democratic government was formed. And a new free Hungary was born, or so we thought.
The optimism spreads, and spreads far beyond Hungary. Naturally, it is not ignored by Washington and Allen Dulles, head of the CIA.
Allen Dulles came in and told Dad, this is one of the most remarkable things happened since World War II. The Russians have given in.
General Andrew Jackson Goodpaster, President Eisenhower's staff secretary and most trusted advisor.
What we were hoping for was a kind of an evolution from within. And we thought, of course, that's what we were seeing. And the question was, how far would the Soviets let this go?
The answer to that question will come 5 days later. It will not be pleasant. We will show you the end to this sad story, along with the beginnings of some other ways we were in autumn 1956. Come back.
Welcome back to our world, back to the quiet surface of the autumn of 1956 and the currents of change that are roiling around underneath that surface. Business, as usual, is trying to enhance our comfort, not upset it. The S.C. Johnson Company markets Raid, the first aerosol bug killer. And the Clairol people bring new subtlety to the art of hair dyeing. They ask, does she or doesn't she? They do not ask, does he or doesn't he?
That's advertising. In the real world, war is about to break out in the Middle East. Hungary is in revolt, and in America, grown-ups seem to be finding young people and their music revolting. But where our movies are concerned, things look swell the autumn of '56. In fact, things look great, as in great big. Charlton Heston parts the Red Sea in the Ten Commandments, and Rock Hudson almost tames both Texas and Elizabeth Taylor in Giant. On Broadway, at $8 for the best seat, the biggest hit is something taken from an old play, Pygmalion. On Broadway, they call it My Fair Lady. Should you stroll through the theater district any given night in the autumn of '56, you might hear theater goers humming tunes we're still humming 30 years later.
Hey there, stars in your eyes. You gotta have heart. All you really need is time. I found you just in time. Standing on the corner, watching all the girls go by.
Mr. Wonderful is a modest success, but a smashing introduction to Broadway for a 30-year-old nightclub singer who one night had to be reintroduced to his lyrics.
Be wise, be smart, behave, my heart. Don't upset your cart when she's so close. And one of the nice things I remember about that, Morty Stevens was conducting in the show. And one night I walked on the stage and I went totally blank. And Morty went boom and looked at me. And I looked down and we had that kind of a show. I went like this, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, but I have forgotten the lyrics of the song. So he yelled, be wise, be smart. I said, got it. Be wise, be smart, behave, my heart. And couldn't think of the next lyric. It seemed like I was out there for a year. One thing leads to another. It's too late to run for cover. She's much too close for comfort now. She's much too close for comfort now.
Only in fantasy could the Washington Senators hope to beat the damn Yankees. Fantasy in the tempting shape of Lola, the devil's handmaiden, played by Gwen Verdon.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. And little man, little Lola wants you.
I adored doing Damn Yankees, particularly Lola, for the Matinee Ladies, because as I was singing and dancing, I would start taking off clothes. I never got down to nothing. I mean, that was verboten in those days. But the Matinee Ladies, you look out there and you see a sea of glasses and little flowered hats. They adored it. And one time I was scooting out of these Toreador pants, which were all the fashion back in the 50s, and one matinee lady yelled out, "Oh, no." And without thinking, I said, "Oh, yes."
A medium younger than theater, television, was still an adolescent with growing pains. Network news was an awkward, plain-faced creature with a lot to learn. Case in point, in the fall of '56, Britain, France, and Israel are conniving secretly to invade Egypt, which has nationalized the Suez Canal, threatening our European allies' last economic toehold in the Middle East. But the day the biggest story of the year breaks, the day Israel invades Egypt, one network has a rookie team on the field.
On this day, October 29th, 1956, NBC is about to introduce a new program, a network news program anchored by a brand new team, Chet Huntley and David Brinkley. The producer of the broadcast is Reuben Frank.
It was our first one, and we were all nervous. Brand new staff. We displaced the old staff entirely. And driving in that morning, I heard about a rumor that there was action.
The action is real, not rumor. Israel has invaded Egypt with the secret backing of Britain and France, a secret still kept from Eisenhower.
The president, in fact, had been out campaigning and was on his way back to the White House in the afternoon or evening when we got the word that this invasion, this attack had occurred.
Ike is angry. He has been deceived by this country's closest ally in the Middle East, and he still doesn't know that Britain and France have orchestrated the whole affair, that Suez will get worse before it gets better.